to this episode of the Puma Thoughts Podcast. Thank you for taking the time today. As always, the show is brought to you by Game On in Batavia, located at 214 East Main Street, specializing in new and pre-owned games and systems repair services, and they deliver. Give them a call at 585-483-3019, and Game Master Jay will hook you up. As always, I'm Puma, of course, and we're going to jump right in, wasting no time for your football fix this week. And Buffalo Bills training camp coming up soon. Camp opens at 9:45 a.m. on Thursday, July 25th. And the Bills will also be on the field the next 3 days. At the same time, after a day off on Monday, July 29th, there's a closed practice on the 30th, followed by 9:45 sessions on the 31st and August 1st. The team will then travel back down the thruway for a 6:15 night practice on Friday, August 2nd at New Era Field. The Bills had never had a training camp practice in the stadium until McDermott took over as coach in 2017. Following a day off, the Bills will be back at St. John Fisher for a 2:45 practice on August 4th. And after a closed practice, there is a 9:45 a.m. workout on August 6th. And that's it. At that point, they will pack their bags and head to One Bills Drive for the start of the preseason schedule, which opens Thursday, August 8th at home against Indianapolis. One of the factors in the shorter schedule at Fisher is that the Bills will be traveling to Spartanburg, South Carolina, to participate in combined practices with the Carolina Panthers on August 13th and 14th, ahead of their preseason game in Charlotte on the 16th. So that is your quick rundown of your training camp schedule. For those of you wanting to go to St. John Fisher, there you go. As far as training camp is concerned, I have 3 things that you should watch for, all of which concern the offense. Number 1, Josh Allen. What's he doing? What's he saying? What's he hearing? What's he eating? Anything Josh Allen, really. What to watch for? Josh Allen. Just anything. The franchise. What to watch for. Number 2, the offensive line. What that will look like, who will be on the team at the end of training camp. I would have to peg it more like Mitch Morse, Spencer Long, Quentin Spain, John Feliciano, Deion Dawkins, Cody Ford, Ty Nsekhe, and Adrian Waddle were more than likely favorites to make the team. Wyatt Teller, I believe, is eligible for the practice squad if he were to get cut, but I would think that more experience is going to win out in the end here, and I think those would be the best situation for the team. I will get into why in just a second. And number 3, the wide receiver battle. Who's going to make the team? Because there's like 40,000 receivers that play on this team right now. I would have to put it at Cole Beasley, Robert Foster, John Brown, Zay Jones, Andre Roberts, and Duke Williams probably making the team. I would say that's a pretty good bet, at least for 2 of those guys, maybe 3 of them, because you signed them all in free agency this year. So, or 4, I should say. Duke Williams being 4. So, yeah, I would say that. But yeah, that is just your quick rundown of kind of everything training camp. Getting more into the what to watch for, though, Josh Allen being, again, number 1, I would say his development first and foremost. What's he looking like? How is he coming into camp? Is he in better shape than he was last year? Is he more prepared to run the offense? They're probably going to do a lot more different things. They got a better offensive line already around him, so we'll see how that works going forward. He's going to get used to a new center. I know that's going to take some doing. But Josh Allen's overall grasp of the offense, his command of the offense, what they're going to let him do, what they're not going to let him do in year 2. Year 2, at least around the NFL for quarterbacks, has been more of a here's the keys to the car, don't crash it type of approach. Everybody gets a little bit more freedom, and the expectations are much, much higher. So Josh Allen is really going to have to hit new highs every year for, let's say, the next 2 to 3 years. In this year, he is definitely going to need to take a very big leap. Because all anybody is really talking about is Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. And then Patrick Mahomes being your benchmark for quarterbacks now, seemingly. Maybe not even him, Jared Goff, and Carson Wentz. But, like, everybody's throwing it out there that, like, oh, year 2 is big. Year 2 is big. Mitch Trubisky made the playoffs year 2. Colin Kaepernick in year 2 went to a Super Bowl. So, you know, it's like you're going to have to do bigger things. Mahomes went to AFC Championship game year 2. So you're going to have to really put it out there that the expectations are very, very high. I don't think that they are, I would say, I don't know, something to really shy away from, but you don't want to overwhelm him, but you also need Josh Allen to be much, much better year 2 because you need him to be able to win you more games than what he did, and he's got to do it with his arm. Like, you'd love for him to run around and do that. Like, the league knows that he can do that now. Now he has to prove that they could beat people with his arm. Number 2, the offensive line. This is going to be probably one of the most interesting battles in camp next to the wide receiver battle because you are going to have a lot of new people. You could potentially have 4 new starters on the offensive line. Deion Dawkins will remain from last season, I believe. So you are really going to drastically change everything that was wrong with your team this year. Offensive line definitely being one of them. So, like I said, Mitch Morse center, but there's guys that can play different positions, which I think is going to be huge for this team because you're going to see guys move up and down the line, and they're going to tinker with a lot of stuff until they find something that works. Spencer Long can play guard and center. Feliciano can play guard and center. Dawkins and Cody Ford can play tackle and guard. So you have some flexibility along your offensive line. I would definitely look forward to those. I hope that Cody Ford comes in and is just a man possessed. I would love for him to get a starting job. Maybe right tackle, right guard, I would say. Dawkins at left tackle, I'd be okay with that. He can also move to guard. I don't think that would be a downgrade by any stretch. Morse at center is going to control it all. Spencer Long in Spain, you could put anywhere. Feliciano, good backup to them. And then Niseki and Waddle to kind of round it out. So I think that'll work well as far as they go. Cuts, then, like I said, Wyatt Teller. I know they drafted him last year, but experience will probably beat him there. Vlad Dukas, Ike Bodiger, DeAndre Wesley, Jeremiah Sirlees, and Connor McDermott will all probably get cut. And like I said, Teller is eligible for practice squad if he does and doesn't get claimed. Wide receiver battles, I don't think you really need to go too in depth with it. Cole Beasley's got a job. John Brown's going to have a job, and Andre Roberts are going to have a job. Duke Williams is going to be your wild card in all of this because no one knows what he will be capable of. Because then he has to go try to fight the narrative that CFL players don't really catch on too much in the NFL. So he's going to have to really show out this year. And I think he will do a good job. I don't know if he'll definitely be a clear-cut number 1. But I do think he will be an impact player in the sense that he will do what he needs to do to fit into the offense, and it'll just be kind of a transitional thing. So I like Duke Williams. I hope he catches on, and I hope he makes a difference for the team. Zay Jones, I hope this is the year he takes the leap because I feel like this is his last chance. He definitely is going to need to do that. So I'm hopeful. Very hopeful for Zay Jones because I do like Zay Jones and I think he's going to be a good receiver. But this is the year he's got to make big strides. He's got to make plays when he gets the opportunity. He's got to make big time plays. Robert Foster, after the year he had last year and the big play capability, I can't see them just giving up on him and just cutting him because he has a bad camp. So I think he gets a longer leash. But then come down here. I know fan favorite is David Sills. That's a very big name. Everybody wants to see make the team. I don't think he will. Isaiah McKenzie's gone. Cam Phillips will be gone. Ray McLeod didn't do much last year with his chance, so I think he'll be gone. Nick Easley and Victor Bolden will all be cut. So you're looking at Beasley, Foster, Brown, Jones, Roberts, and Duke Williams as your starters at wide receiver. I know running backs being talked about a lot. We got 4 right now. Just running backs per se. Fullbacks are also a name, something you could look into, but fullbacks I feel like are kind of a dying breed nowadays. Like DeMarco's on the team, but I don't know if he'll stay on the team. I feel like he's a name that could be getting cut. I don't see them cutting Frank Gore. I don't see them getting rid of Shady or Devin Singletary, so I think TJ Yeldon will be the odd man out there. I think this is just his chance to showcase that he's still got something left for other teams, and if they can trade him and get something for him, that's probably what they will do. But I don't think... I think the running backs are more or less solidified than anything else. Tight ends, I know, is another point of conversation because Tyler Kroft is hurt and will be back for the start of the season. This kind of opens the door for a lot of other guys, so I'm looking forward to the battles there. But I think you're really going to need to see... It was Dawson Knox. I think it's his job to lose, I feel. I hope it is anyway, because I like what he brings to the table. So we'll see what tight end looks like. I think the only thing you don't have to worry about this year is defense. I really feel like the defense is going to be better than last year, and you don't really need to worry about who's going to do what or where they're going to play, because I feel like what you got last year is what you're going to get this year. You're just going to swap out Kyle Williams for Ed Oliver, and you're probably not going to miss too much of a beat after that. I know Vaseem Joseph, the linebacker they got in the draft, I think he'll make a difference. He'll be big this year. So, yeah, that's kind of your rudimentary rundown of what I have for the Bills in general. So, again, there's a lot you can look into for training camp. I don't think it's going to be, really like years past. I just feel this has a very different feel to it. There's going to be a lot of position battles. The point of this regime in McDermott and Bean is that they want competition. There's a reason why they've signed all of these people. There's a lot of people online that piss and moan about how many people they have at a certain position. It's not because we're going to try to keep all of those people. It's stupid if you think that. This is all about competition. You need to see these guys compete day in and day out. Everyone is going to get their chance to start at some point in this season, or the season in training camp and in the preseason, I should say. So that then breeds the competition you want, which will bring the best out of everybody. That's what you need. The only position that is guaranteed, I would say the guarantees of any positions on this team is probably quarterback to Josh Allen and kicker to Hauschka. Those are the only two positions that are absolutely guaranteed. When you get down to like running back, yeah, you got Shady, but nothing is ever really set in stone. Devin Singletary can come out of nowhere and just be a guy there, and then it's just like if they feel confident enough, they'll get rid of Shady. If they really felt like it, they could trade him. I'm not saying they're going to. I feel like Shady, you could probably write it in pen that he's starting. But crazier things have happened. Okay? Like, just, you can't ever rule anything out anymore, I feel like. And I feel like that is something you need to watch, because this is going to be a huge year for Shady McCoy, because he needs to bounce back from last year. And he's got his workout buddy Frank Gore on the team now. So now we're going to see just what they can do together. And then hopefully Singletary can get in there and do some nice things as he did in college. And again, like I said, Yeldon is probably just going to be odd man out. This is just his chance to showcase what he can do. So he'll probably get extended work in the preseason, and everyone will read into that like, oh man, he's probably going to make the team. I don't think so. I think it's just him to be traded to get a late round pick out of him. That's what I think. But I would say anything, we don't got to worry about what's going on defense, because I feel like that is pretty much pretty much set in stone. I would say, outside of cornerback, EJ Gaines is back on the team. I feel like he'll be starting opposite Tre'Davious White. Lafayette Pitts is in there. So, there's gonna be some good battles for sure. It's just more or less positioning on the depth chart on defense, I feel. But so that is pretty much what I got for your football fix. Quick and to the point this week. I know I've been a little absent on the social media with the updates and stuff. Work has been kind of all over the place. My schedule is a little crazy, so I'm going to try to do the best I can in updating you on podcasty stuff. I know last week I mentioned it real quick at the end of the show that I'm looking into changing the format of the show. I'm still kind of tinkering with that idea. I got about a month and a half, I would say, to really kind of set my mind on that. Like I said, I'm experimenting with maybe switching over to Tumblr for the blogs and all the posting stuff. So again, I will keep everyone updated on all that stuff. But again, we're a little far off for that. I want to do something like that in the fall. But again, I will give everybody plenty of time and notice when that may or may not occur. So don't got to worry about it. But that is all I got for your football fix. Quick break. And on the other side of that, I'm going to tell you what's going on. And what's going on is that Russell Westbrook got traded. It may be hot outside, but it is always cool at Scrambleman Farms. How about it in there, Rick? Because it's so hot outside, Scrambleman Farms is bringing back its very popular iced coffee. That's right. Come on into Scrambleman Farms and you could cool off with a nice iced coffee cappuccino or frappuccino. Anything you want, really. We could put it on ice for you. And introducing the grand opening of Scrambleman Farms Cereal Bar. Oh, that's right. An all-you-can-eat smattering of your favorite generic cereals served with some ice-cold milk. Whole milk, 2%, fat-free, or almond milk. We got you covered here at Scrambleman Farms, located on Route 9. Look for Rick the Mechanical Rooster out front. Scrambleman Farms! When you hear the rooster howl, baby, that's breakfast. Everybody, let's get into what else is going on. And days after Paul George's shocking separation from the Thunder, Russell Westbrook followed suit in a shocking blockbuster deal that sent the former MVP to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Chris Paul and multiple first-round picks. The deal stacks former OK Stars in pursuit of a title widely perceived to be there for the taking. Meanwhile, puts Oklahoma City in a full-on rebuild. If the Thunder weren't there already. For Houston, this is head-scratching. Westbrook has been awful at the core principle of Houston's analytics-heavy style of play, which is shooting efficiency. His fit in an offense that lives and dies by James Harden's every movement will require adjustment. But it's yet to be seen who will be doing the adjusting and how willing either might be to do so, even if the two have played together before. Mind you, James Harden came off the bench when they played together before. The Rockets' big move wasn't a harmless experiment either. The Rockets sent the Thunder 2 first-round picks in 2024 and 2026, respectively, protected number 1 through 4, and 2 pick swaps in 2021 and 2025. So, obviously, it's a big swing on Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets' part. The Thunder clearly need to reboot. They got to go back to the drawing board and do this again. And they've gotten quite a lot of assets to do so. This is exactly the situation Boston Celtics were in a few years ago. And Danny Ainge never pulled the trigger on trading any of these assets away to make the team better when he could have even in an instant. You didn't want to rent a player. Everybody saw what happened with Toronto. You traded a superstar for a superstar. That new superstar brought you a championship, then that superstar left. Nobody wanted to go through that, but the ring is the thing in sports. It's all about the ring. If you're chasing stats, you're never going to end up being anything. Whether or not Russell Westbrook is chasing stats is anybody's guess, but he doesn't quite fit what I feel the Rockets want to do. Again, like I said, shooting efficiency is what their analytics basically are based upon. And James Harden's shooting efficiency is much better than Westbrook's. Westbrook is a damn near terrible jump shooter. It seems he's gotten progressively worse. He doesn't play defense very much. A little sparingly, I should say. But this is a very odd fit. Like, Chris Paul is a very, I don't want to say field general, but a court general per se. He's very demanding. He's very specific. But he had better statistics than Russell Westbrook. Maybe not scoring-wise, but he was much more efficient than Russell Westbrook was. So you're getting rid of that efficiency for Westbrook that is going to draw a crowd, definitely. Can you compete in the West now? We'll see. We'll see. The Clippers got exponentially better with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. The Lakers are going to get better this year with Anthony Davis and LeBron. So you got that. The Warriors can't necessarily be ruled out. They're not going to have Clay. They obviously don't have Kevin Durant. But Curry's still there. So the Warriors should still be reckoned with. The Blazers are going to be around. So the West is a little crowded, I would say. So Oklahoma is going to fall back a bit, but they could rise very, very quickly if they so tend to choose to trade those picks. Sam Presti's going to have options. He's going to have a lot of options, definitely. SB Nation, however, ranked the winners and losers of this trade. The winner, Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are stacking picks on picks in a summer of complete renovation. They accepted defeat once PG wanted out the door by shopping Russ. Since George's trade, Oklahoma City has added Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 7 first-round picks, and 4 pick swaps. So if you want a rebuild, then that's a damn good start. Chris Paul isn't the right fit for a rebuild, but it seems he's on his way out. Anyway, per The Athletic's Sam Amick, Paul's agent is set to talk with OKC GM Sam Presti, and the Thunder are interested in shipping Paul to the Heat if that is his request to play with Jimmy Butler. A winner, nobody else. That's it. Losers in all this. The loser, Houston Rockets. Westbrook is the Rockets' Harden era antithesis. High usage, wildly inefficient, and a rash defender. The fit with Harden is impractical given where the roster currently stands and the history of how Westbrook's fared in his chances to concede space to a more talented counterpart is checkered. On top of it, Houston lost significant assets. It dealt 2 first-round picks and pick swaps for a player who arguably isn't as good as Paul, even as latest as last year, and has an extra year on another of the league's biggest contracts. There's no denying Westbrook has value, but Houston, to get what it invested, it need a massive reform from one of the league's most stubborn stars. Ouch. Another loser is James Harden. He may not realize it now, but Russ could become a more public nightmare than Paul ever was. Paul and Harden worked on the floor even if they didn't work off of it. The reverse could be uglier. Westbrook and Harden get along, but Russ will take the ball out of Harden's hands more, and it's yet to be seen if it's for the better. The loser, Chris Paul. From one carousel to the next, it seems unlikely that he'd want to play out his final years for a rebuilding OKC franchise. The Thunder are no way title-worthy team anymore. Paul's contract remains no easier to move, though, and OKC is less likely to part with draft picks to make it happen. Paul is still linked to the Heat, but what it takes to move him there is unclear. CP3 is still in limbo, but with much higher consequences if there's no solution. And another loser is the fans who bought jerseys. This summer's biggest losers are those who paid for superstar merch: Kyrie, Durant, Kawhi, PG, Russ, Anthony Davis, Kemba, and the like. 6 players who made all NBA honors: Durant, Irving, Kemba Walker, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook have switched teams via free agency or trade. That is the largest number in league history, in case you didn't know. So, if anything, this entire summer has added quite a lot of intrigue to the NBA. I've stated it before that I am very interested to see what the NBA is going to do next season when that gets rolling. It is going to be quite the show, I feel. When Kevin Durant comes back from injury, we may be looking 2 years down the line here, but he comes back from injury, then we are going to see exactly what this summer was planting the seeds for. Brooklyn should be insanely good with his return if he and Kyrie can make it work. Philadelphia should be better. Milwaukee should be still tops of the East. Miami should be up and coming, if not better, with Jimmy Butler if they get Chris Paul. So there's 4 teams right there off the top of my head that are going to compete in the East. The Pacers being 5. They're always scrappy. They seem to do it every single year. They're getting Victor Oladipo back next year. So there's 5. The West, you still got your Portlands, which will be middle of the pack, I think. But the Lakers should be up there. The Warriors still can't be counted out. The Rockets, again, you got to put them up there. I think they'll still make the playoffs, but it's going to be interesting with this dynamic. The Clippers now are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Clippers-Lakers, who has the better roster constructed as of right now. I like the Clippers roster more so than the Lakers currently. But that's why they play the games. That is why they play the games. But, yeah, so the NBA has definitely found a way to really add drama and intrigue throughout all of this. So like I said, next year when the season starts, it is going to be very, very fun to watch who does what and where they're going to do it. Boston kind of retooled with adding Kemba Walker. So, we'll see where Boston falls into all of this. I think they're going to kind of take more of a step back, and they'll be middle of the pack. I don't think they're going to be tops of the East next year, I should say. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. It's going to be, there's more superstars now coming together than ever before, and that all started with the whole Celtics with their big 3 in the first place. That kind of how it all began. Now we're going to have to see just what comes of it, because all the players seem to have the power and all that, and they get to choose where they want to go. I mean, Kawhi Leonard apparently recruited Paul George, and Paul George then got traded. That is damn impressive if you really break it down. Like, Paul George signed a 4-year contract to stay with the Thunder, and he was 1 year into that and got traded. No one is safe. Absolutely no one is safe. Anyone can go at any time, and that's how fast it can go. As far as the Thunder are concerned, one more time, all their picks, everything they got, this is something that honestly I've talked about before. I've said it with the Bills. I've said it about the Knicks. I've said it about the Sabres. That the assets that you can acquire, if you are really going to break it all down and start again, that is what you need to do. You get value for what you got, and then you got to go and do the work to build it back up again. Basketball, there's a higher bust rate for prospects, which is kind of why, your blue chippers always seem to kind of pan out. But there's other ones that it's like you take and then they may be kind of a flash in the pan, or they stash them overseas, you never hear from them again, or they just get traded on draft night. This is going to be very, very interesting because Oklahoma City, now with all these picks, if there's some big prospects that are coming out in the draft in the next couple of years, they have the picks to move around to trade up to get them. And anybody almost would be stupid enough not to make those trades because these picks are so far off in the future. Some of them are, 6-7 years away? I think some of them are 6. Yeah, a couple of them are 6. So you have time to, you don't even know what these picks will materialize into. Like, the value, it's almost a blank check. It can work against you because it's so far off in the future, you don't know what it's going to be worth. But it's a blank check. It could be anything. I know some of these are top 4 protected for Houston's sake, but unless the Thunder put a protection on some of their picks that they're giving away, which I don't think they will, but if they were to trade one of their picks, which you got to think teams are going to want to do, there's going to be maybe protections on them if they don't get a protection on, whatever picks maybe 3 years down the line, let's say. You're going to put all your eggs in in that basket. So, again, Oklahoma City could have the world by the balls in the next 3 years. They could really rebuild a team, especially if a superstar starts getting disgruntled and wants out of his current situation or just doesn't like what's happening. They got the picks, and they'll probably have the cap space to make a trade to bring in that superstar, and he will get the keys to the car. It will be his team. Like, no one is going to debate that because Oklahoma City had 2 faces of the franchise. One walked, then it became Russell Westbrook's team. They finally got a running buddy for him, and they were doing much better year 2, and then he wanted out. And now Westbrook is gone too. Like, it's just time to move on. So, you got what you could get out of him. Now it's time to build it back up again. Not saying that superstar players like a Westbrook or a Kevin Durant just kind of grow on trees here, but Sam Presti has done a great job building this team when they move there. So I don't foresee this being much of a problem for him to try to build it back up. I don't think they'll ever be as good as they were. I don't see a championship coming in the next 6 or 7 years. But they should be a very competitive team, I feel like, in 3. Very, more maybe challenging for top 3 in the West. If they do it right. If done correctly, with everything they have, all the assets, and then looking future, forecasting who's going to be free agents and whatever kind of team they want to try to build, this team should be highly competitive. They could be like a Portland, I would say. You kind of find one superstar, you just build around them. You just need to build a solid team, and they will compete and they will do what they need to do. So, if anything, if you're looking for a blueprint, I would say Portland is the one to look at. Maybe even the Pacers. They seem to do a pretty good job with building a team and kind of making them very competitive. So, the Thunder could be a very, very fun team in the next few years to watch. But for now, it is going to be painful to watch. Thunder fans, it's going to be painful. But I'm a Knicks fan, and I've been in pain for 19 years and counting. Yeah. But yeah, so that is all I really wanted to touch on what else is going on. I know there's so much other stuff happening, and I only got so much time, and I'm, again, with trying to post these to YouTube, I want to keep these as short and sweet and to the point as possible. Again, that's kind of the reason why I'm looking into kind of tinkering the format a little bit on this, and I can maybe get to more. If not get to more, I can get to at least one key topic. So again, I will let everybody know how that's going. I'm going to tinker with some other stuff and try to give you the best of what I can offer. That is for sure, because you all deserve it. Because you all deserve it. But that is what else is going on. A reminder! You can read the blogs and hear each episode of the Puma Thoughts podcast on the website, pumathoughts.blogspot.com. You can like and share the show on Facebook, facebook.com/PumaThoughts. You can follow the show on Twitter at Puma Thoughts, or follow me at Puma585. You can find the show on SoundCloud. Go to soundcloud.com/Puma Thoughts, or search for Puma585. Either way, it'll bring you straight to me. And you can listen to the show on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search for Puma Thoughts, find the logo, and subscribe. Ring the bell, get notifications every time a new episode is posted. And that is all I got for you this week. Have an awesome day, everybody. Stay cool out there. I'm out of here.